we've seen how militarized gear can sometimes give people a feeling like there's an occupying force as opposed to a force that's part of the community that's protecting them and serving them.
He was not just an agent. He was the chief of the FBI. Welcome to Ted Gunderson.
Thank you very much.
The internet activity of millions of people, exposing himself to possible prosecution.
And on October 25, 1980, I obtained a signed confession from Helena Stokely, and the girl in the floppy hat said that Dr. McDonald did not commit those crimes. They were committed by my Satanic cult group, and it was my initiation into the cult that night.
You knew that this subtitle was going to get some people's attention. The global elite secret plan for the next financial crisis. Right. What are you saying about the global elites? Are they doing certain things before this crisis as far as stockpiling cash? What can we learn from what you know?
Right. The arch is commonly shown and used in Freemasonry. Right? We know that they have the two pillars and they have the arch that they constantly use, as well as the staircase and as well as what? The black and white tiles that we always see in Freemasonry, right?
Positive, and to at least have a good life. If I'm gonna die or ever be a sacrifice, if I'm gonna die or ever be a sacrifice, ever be a sacrifice.
Helena said he did not commit those murders. They were committed by her Satanic cult group. She said that her Satanic cult was involved in distributing drugs up and down the East Coast.
Okay, they're showing people demonically possessed and the bizarre dancing they're doing. They're also showing people playing dead, laying down, referencing the dead and the rise of the dead. Talking about the rise of the Antichrist. You can see people laying on this staircase dead over and over. They show them regular, and they show them upside down, as above, so below.
Former CIA director, we kill people based on metadata. That's data that they collect based on your phone calls. How long you talked, who you're talking to, what you're doing, how often do you do it. They can tell all of this from a simple phone call.
Launch into your browser and simply open up history.google.com. Here on the left-hand side, voice and audio activity. And as you can see here, there's all these different events that have been recorded.
I am the son of an oil man. I lived overseas all of my life. I was very fortunate in both having several graduate degrees and being a Marine Corps infantry officer, Marine Corps intelligence officer, and then a clandestine intelligence case officer. I've programmed imagery satellites. I've helped steal signals code books. I've done counterintelligence. I'm basically intimately familiar with the way in which the U.S. government does or does not do.
You guys are the lifeboat. We've gone from America the beautiful to America the shit. Your government is stupid. And they're stupid deliberately. The intelligence community does not do open source information because they like to think that the cabinet departments are doing their open source information.
Our Secretary of the Treasury went to the Congress and said, I want this money so I can buy the bad assets from the banks. I want to strip out the bad assets. It's not what he did. He took the money and gave it to the banks as capital, and they kept the bad assets, which meant that when they recovered, the bankers got the profits, not the people. There's nobody went to jail, none of the big banks failed, the profit didn't go to the taxpayers where it should have, it went to the banks. Everything about this was corrupt.
And much to my surprise, my witnesses, my 19 new witnesses, including Helena Stokely, started calling me and saying, hey Ted, the FBI has interviewed me, they're trying to get me to recant. And I'm saying to myself, that isn't the responsibility of the FBI. The FBI is supposed to gather information, not destroy it.
Did I sell my soul? I sold my soul for you. Now figure that out. Talking about I sold my soul for you. For all you motherfuckers that's on here, that's asking me did I sell my soul, why the fuck is y'all on here if y'all think I sold my soul? Y'all coming right with me, you dummies.
But when the higher-ups in the drug operation, who were government personnel, police officers, 2 attorneys in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Evidence was lost, destroyed, stolen. I noticed that there were strong indications of corruption. Military officers, when they learned that this cult, this satanic cult had committed these murders, they knew that if there was an investigation of the cult, it would expose the whole operation throughout America. And so what they do, they covered it up.
worst thing comes to worst, I fucking die a tragic death or some shit, and I'm not able to see out my dreams, I at least want to know that the kids perceived my message and were able to make something of themselves and able to take my message and use it and turn it into something positive and to at least have a good life. I at least, if I'm gonna die or ever be a sacrifice.
The government truly is watching us. I mean, they are actually watching everything we do. You know, we can print out the front perfectly fine, and then we tried to print out the back, but it didn't work. Now, you know, we tried it over and over again. We thought, oh, maybe we're out of ink, maybe there was something wrong with the printer. The next morning, we tried to print again, and it printed $1 bill on the back, $1 bill on the back, and this happened. All right, do you see this? I swear to God, I did not put that there. It says rulesforuse.org. I went to that website, and it was talking about counterfeiting.
Which I will refer you to 3 specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country. I have been trying to get this out for 18 years, and I have the evidence. My question for you is very specific, sir. If in the course of the IG's investigations and Fred Hitz's work, you come across evidence of severely criminal activity, and it's classified, will you use that classification to hide the criminal activity, or will you tell the American people the truth?
I started gathering material, kept saying there's a loose-knit network operating in this country involving drugs, pedophilia, pornography, prostitution, corruption, etc., involves organized child kidnapping rings, the Finders out of Washington, D.C., CIA cover, covert operation involved in the international trafficking of children, terrorism, bank accounts.
What's really eye-opening here is you watch your TV, but with this hack, your TV can watch you.
You can turn the camera on in your browser.
Wow.
And while this is evident to you right here because we designed it that way, this is something that we can do invisibly and actually have the camera running behind the web page that you're looking at.
So what this means is I could be sitting here watching TV from my bedroom, and you could be anywhere in the world looking at this image of me watching.
I am absolutely certain that central banks are an evil. Central banks are screwing us all, or we'll head it right. We are pigs being harvested.